to Trackside with Rides and Drives, a podcast for IndyCar fans. I'm Harvey, and I'm here with Kaz and my good friend and our new West Coast editor, Jeff Zurschmeide. Jeff is based in Portland, which is very convenient because this week IndyCar is in Portland. So welcome, both of you.
Hi, Harvey. Hi, Jeff.
Thanks very much.
Jeff, thanks for joining us. I appreciate it. Give us a little bit about your background so people on the podcast know from whence you came.
Oh gosh, I've been involved in racing, involved for various levels of involved since childhood. My parents raced in SCCA, and I've been racing all my adult life. And until I figured out that being a motorsports journalist was actually the best job in racing. So I've been covering IndyCar here at Portland and up and down the West Coast for well over 10 years, probably closer to 20.
Great. Well, thank you for joining us and being a part of the team. I'm really looking forward to your insights as we continue to build this community here. So thank you.
Happy to be here.
Great. Kaz, start us off. Do you have questions for Jeff?
I definitely do. Jeff, I want to start talking right away about the track. You told me earlier that you put in laps on this track before. What can we expect this weekend?
Portland is a great track that doesn't always get the respect that it's due. It's a fairly simple track when you compare it with something, really astonishing like Road America. It is just shy of 2 miles, 1.979. And it really only has two major braking zones, and that's into turn 1 and into turn 12. And it's fairly wide, and it's a nice flowing track. But I think when you're competing at the level of an IndyCar driver, they're going to see it differently. For one thing, they see it at 180 miles an hour.
And in your bug eye, you see it at what?
And in my car, it would be 80 miles an hour.
Okay, bit of a difference.
So they have a much different perspective on it, and the IndyCar drivers uniformly, and this goes back to kart days, even before Champ Car World Series. The drivers really like it. Portland is a flowing track. There are many places where you can pull off a pass. There are places you can set up a pass several corners in advance. So it's, from their perspective, I think it's a very technical track. And also they race in such a tight knot of cars typically that everybody's taking advantage of the good parts of the track, and everybody is slowed down to the same speed by the tough parts of the track.
Yeah, it seems like it's a fairly narrow track for 27 Indy cars to get through.
It's narrow for in comparison to something like an Indianapolis Motor Speedway, right? It is. But it's not really any narrower than a Road America, and it's certainly wider than any of the street courses.
Sure.
Okay.
So what I think you need to look for, though, is tire choice ends up being a huge factor in having success at Portland. And there's a lot of strategy that's going to go on in the pits and in the team trailers when they're doing setup. One of the things is, because we have such long straightaways and fast flowing corners, they can get away with a little less downforce if they want to maximize that speed and still be okay. But you are going to see some cars that are much better in the corners because they've gone for more downforce and yet don't have the speed on Portland's long front and back straights.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see then how they choose between the primary and the alternate tire, whether they want to finish on that, so maybe they can be a little quicker toward the end of the race. Right?
That gets to what I wanted to talk about today.
Oh,
and so what I really wanted to be here to talk about is that this race is perfectly set up to be a grudge match between Will Power and Alex Palou.
Yeah, Will won last year, right?
Will won last year, and he won Well, I mean, he had the race from the beginning. I mean, before the first corner, he passed the pole sitter, and apart from the give and take of pit stops, he led the entire race. And at the end, he was 10 seconds, which is an eternity in
Yeah.
IndyCar,
Mhm.
ahead of Palou. And Palou, I just was at a press conference yesterday with Alex Palou, and he said it was all about the tire strategy, that Power and his team just had the tire strategy and nobody could catch him. And he just built up such a lead that he had the race. And that's one of the things that I love about Portland and racing at Portland and IndyCar at Portland is that the race happened in their heads, right? It happened in the engineering, it happened in the pit stops, and the decisions that they made. Because I mean, nobody's going to argue that Palou is a slouch, a 10-second slouch on anyone as a driver, right? So that's where that happened. Now Palou won in 2023. Again, pulling off a flawless performance in the prior year. So here we have now coming into this race, if Palou wins, right, he clinches the championship. It's all there.
Right.
Power's going to want to defend his championship here, or his win, his race win here. And so I think you're going to see, Alex Palou and his team really study what Power did last year to deliver such a dominating performance.
Well, sorry, I didn't mean
I was
to
going to
interrupt.
say, and I'm due to talk to Will tomorrow afternoon at 3:00 to get his perspective on that. And I'm certainly going to ask him, does he have anything up his sleeve as far as strategy for the upcoming race? Not that he would tell me.
Yeah.
He
Well,
did.
I was just curious because, and this may be worth talking to him about tomorrow as well, is, they've struggled this year, right? And there's no secret that Penske has, they have not put it together. They've had some good qualifyings, but their race results have been terrible. Dumb luck in some cases, untimely mechanical problems, bonehead moves are
the sloppy mistakes.
sloppy mistakes. But it's Penske, so you've got to think that sooner or later they're going to put it together. I guess my big question would be, have the changes to the team taken something away from their knowledge base that they would have had in the previous year with all those people who'd been there for so long? Has it been just a learning curve for them this year? We were talking to them at Road America about that, and they said, yeah, we've got some new people in new places, and we're, it just gives people a chance to step up. But, it just feels like they are just a step behind right now.
Something that I took away from that conversation that you referenced, Harvey, at Road America was he specifically stressed how much of a learning curve there is losing that leadership knowledge. So I do have to, if we're talking about a race that is won and lost in the mind, there is a little bit of a concern that they don't have the people there who were making those decisions last year. I will be really curious to hear what Will has to say about strategy and about how he'll be going about it. Specifically, last year, Palou is not a driver who's comfortable being 10 seconds behind anybody. What do you think he will be looking to take away from Will's strategy last year to kind of try and make up those lost seconds?
I think tire choice. Primarily, It's going to come down to tire choice when he uses those sets. I just got the note today from Green Savory about the number of tires sets that they've been allocated for the race, right? And push to pass and the hybrid boost as well.
Right.
Hybrid boost is unlimited, which is interesting. Unlimited actuations. Yeah, let me see if I can find that.
I saw that note earlier today too.
Rules. Push to pass parameters. 200 seconds of total time with a maximum 20 seconds per activation, and hybrid energy deployment parameters. Isn't it amazing to be in racing and be able to say those words? Unlimited activation with a maximum deployment of 350 kilojoules per lap. And I have no real
I have that
sense
last
of
I
part.
don't
how
have a
much
frame
a
of reference for that
kilojoule
at
is.
all.
It sounds like a lot, but
Yeah, but maybe it isn't.
Yeah, no, that's interesting because they had hybrid last year, right, at
Yeah.
Portland.
Oh, yeah, they
so
did.
that they came in. I think it was Mid Ohio last year is when they debuted the hybrid system. So they've all been driving with it now, and I think some people you know how to use it better than others at this point, and maybe
Yeah.
Palou is one of those guys who knows
Well,
when to regen and when to deploy and all that.
you certainly can't argue with his performance this year.
No, not at all.
We haven't seen a lot of strategic mistakes from Palou's team by any means,
Yeah.
or from the man himself.
Right. So, and of course, Will Power, God, he's been around forever now.
Right.
He was a young up and comer when I started covering IndyCar in Portland, back when it was kart or champ car. And he knows a lot. He still has, I should say, the qualifying record at Portland.
Yeah, these cars are not going faster than the 2018 cars.
Right, and that was September of 2018 is when he set that qualifying record at Portland, and so I'm going to say that at Portland, Power is the man to beat, and Palou has got to be going to bed at night thinking about what Power's taillights looked like last year.
That's great. What in terms of the race itself, what role does qualifying play in terms of race, probability? Is it a huge benefit to be on the pole or in front, or is because there are good passing opportunities, it's not a huge deal?
It's not a big deal. I mean, people make more of a deal of it than it really is. But as we always used to say, you can't win the race on that first corner, but you can sure as hell lose it there. And you can point to however many so-called professional drivers who just pull bonehead moves going into that first corner. And for those who aren't familiar, Portland, you start on the front straight, which is literally a drag strip, and you head into between the starter flag and the first corner is only about 200 yards, and it is a 90-degree right hand turn, and the track narrows significantly. Plus, you have a pavement change from asphalt onto concrete.
Right.
When you
there's a wall on the inside of that corner, isn't there, or the end of the pit or something?
there is a wall on you're driving in a concrete canyon. There's a wall, driver's right. I have hit that wall, getting overzealous going into turn one. That's a story for another day and several more beers. And there's a wall, driver's left. And if you fail to make the corner, you can go straight. There is a straight path through, but
Right.
they stop you and hold you for like 5 or 6 seconds if you shortcut the course.
Right.
There's a penalty involved. The thing is, you can go 4 wide in Indy cars. You could go 4 wide down the front straight, but it's going to 2 wide and really single file as you come around that corner. And then you've just got a short shoot of less than 50 yards before you have to make an acute left through the rest of what we now call the Monty Shelton chicane, named after a famous Portland racing driver who was actually a good friend of mine. I miss him.
Oh.
Anyway, so that particular set of corners, and then you have an opening and widening turn 3 which is a sort of 45-degree right at the end of that. So you've got these two corners that are slower, and then going fast again as you're coming out. And the number of people who think it's a smart idea to try and boil up from 10th on the grid to grab the lead in that first corner would blow your mind. And if I can tell you that that's a stupid move, then my God, why didn't your coach tell you that was a stupid move?
Yeah, I've seen so many incidents there over the years, in watching that race. And
So you mentioned earlier in our conversation, Jeff, about good spots and not so good spots for the drivers. Obviously,
Right.
turn 1 is something that doesn't sound like it sounds fun, but it doesn't sound like that's an easy spot for them. Where can we expect to see a lot of overtakes, and where can we expect to see what are some other areas we could see some more problems?
Sure. You actually will see a lot of passing going into turn 1. Passing under braking into turn 1 is probably the most popular move there is at Portland. And if you can pull it off, it's great. Leave it too long, you're down the escape road.
Sure.
Get out of shape, you're sideways in a part of the track where the next guy's going to drive right into you. There's a dozen ways it can go wrong, but it's so attractive. It's like the corkscrew at Laguna Seca. It just sits there and says, "Come on, you can do it. You can do it." No, you can't. So there's that. I think smart drivers will also pull off passes on people who get a little overconfident going into turn 1. Once you've rounded that acute left onto at turn 2, if you do that right and you get a good late apex and a good run at it, you can pull off a pass between there and turn 4, 5 at
Okay.
the end, the big turnaround at the end. Your next good place is turn 6. And there again, that's a matter of you set it up back at 4 and 5, and you can come boiling out of turn 6. And then the track in its latest repave, about probably 10 years ago now, they made it really wide. It gets super, super wide there between 6 and 7. And 7 is a 90-degree right that does a little dog leg and then shoots you onto the back straight. So your really fast line is to go driver's left coming into turn 7, and it's a matter of feeling the flow and carrying the curve. You carry that curve around, you get lined up driver's left on the big wide section. Now you can turn down, be on the gas, and be 100% on the throttle by the time you hit the apex. Then just let the track waver around you as you go through that little dog leg, and you're now shooting onto the back straight with excellent speed, as opposed to if you try to screw around there. So if you can make a pass going into turn 7, you now have a situation where if Harvey's in the correct zone and I'm not, and I pull off that pass going in, Harvey can do an over and under on me the same way they do at turn 5 at Road America.
Sure.
Gotcha.
However, if I set it up all correctly and Harvey's not over to the left and I can get around on the left, I have more braking and then a better shot onto the back straight. And so you can see you'll see a lot of technical work happen there. And if somebody pulls off that pass, my hat's off to them. That means you were thinking ahead, you were on the ball, and you knew what you were doing. Next place to pass is down in what we call the circus. You come down the back straight, you have a very gentle left at turn 10, and then you have to transition to a right that is turn 11. And when you do that, I mean, your car has to be good at transition, at that weight shift from right to left. And then you have a very short straight shoot to brake for turn 12. And so if you do it right and somebody goes through turn 10 not as fast as they should, you can make that pass in 11, but then you've got to be ready to be in a straight line and get on those brakes really hard because turn 12 just simply has a maximum velocity, and if you try to exceed it, you're going to end up in the tire wall.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
Great.
So there's lots of places where things can happen, and I think we'll see drivers that have a preference, right? They'll have a tell. They'll show us early where they like to pass, and then thereafter you can watch them try and pull that move over and over again.
So you're
Just a point of interest. Where's
Oh.
your where's your personal favorite place to pull off a pass?
Oh, it is so sweet that you think I ever did that. I raced a bug-eyed Sprite. I wasn't passing a whole lot of people. Anywhere and everywhere. Actually, my favorite thing to do with especially with drivers who didn't know the track really well, was to brake for turn 10 when they're behind me, get them into the habit of braking for turn 10, and then pop out and not brake for turn 10 and have them say, "Hey, wait a minute."
That's not what we learned earlier.
That's funny. So if I were a fan going to the race, where would you recommend I place myself for the race?
Most of the fans like to be around the chicane, turn 1, 2, and 3, because that's where a ton of action is. You're going to see mistakes there. You're going to see cars wheel to wheel bouncing off each other. Lots of action. For me, there's an embankment that's actually outside the track fence. It's inside the facility, but outside the catch fence. Down at the other end of the track at turns 10, 11, 12. And before they put in all the grandstands, people used to congregate there as one of the best places to watch. And I still think that's one of the best places. Or get up in the infield at turn 11 and watch 10, 11, 12 from the inside.
So Road America is famous for its bratwurst. What's the local track food that you got to have?
There is a never ending and always changing array of food carts. Portland is very much a food cart town. So instead of the fixed facilities that you have at Road America, at Portland, you just walk around and see what food cart vendors are there, and you'll find some. There's a particular one that I always hit that serves beignets.
Oh,
So
love a
I'm
beignet.
always running around with, powdered sugar in my beard.
So Road America, there's so much freedom of movement. You buy your ticket and you can go pretty much anywhere except the media center or the grid.
Mhm.
Is that similar at Portland? What kind of freedom do you have to move around?
Not as much. You have to have a particular pass to get into the infield. Um, unlike Road America, there's no bridges,
Okay.
except there's a walkover bridge, um, which makes it really interesting because the infield is where all of the media are. It's where all the officials are. It's where all the teams are, and there's only track crossings available between sessions for a couple minutes at a time. So getting in and out is not um, as easy as it should be. And so one of the things is that your GA ticket really only gets you to the outside. And they'll have different GA areas. Like there's a wonderful place to watch turns 4, 5, 6, and 7. And a lot of motorhomes end up out there with people camped out for the weekend and having big parties and all like that. And that's really fun. And you can get over there. I'm not sure if you can with a GA ticket or if you have to have a ticket for that area, but mainly your GA ticket just gets you into the main parking lot where there's plenty. I mean, there's lots to do out there. But you do need a special pass to get over into the infield where the vans are and the semis and transporters, they call them, and the pits.
Right.
And then in terms of during the race, you've talked about a couple of different places that are open for GA. Can you walk between them easily during the race, or do you really recommend just kind of hunkering down in one spot?
I would hunker down in one spot, not least of which because it's going to be over 90 degrees that day.
Oh, sure.
but you can go from the grandstands on the south side of the track, all up and down the front straight through the chicane, and then heading out over into turn 4, 5. But like I say, if I found a comfortable spot on the embankment and set up my easy up to provide shade, I don't think I would move out of the 10, 11, 12 area.
So tell us about Portland. If someone's coming in for the weekend for the race, what are some things around the track itself, places people could go to? Again, my reference point is Road American Elkhart Lake, where we have
Right.
Siebkens and stuff like that. Are there famous Portland, racetrack places that people should go see? Any great, I know there are a ton of great breweries in Portland. Any highlights that you'd recommend?
Since we're off the record, and not, and you can cut this out. It used to be the Dancing Bear, which it was a nude dancing establishment very close to the track. But but that's closed down. I think the owner died after decades of debauchery or whatever. And but Portland is a great foodie city, right? As you mentioned, there are brew pubs. Can't shake a stick without finding a different brew pub. And and of course the food scene is just amazing wherever you go. Nearby to the racetrack is the Kenton neighborhood, and there's a bunch of nice restaurants right in there on what we call Denver Avenue. And my personal favorite is Poshine's Cafe de la Soul, which, if you want hush puppies and catfish and a big mess of greens, that's your spot. So I tend to eat there a lot. There are, if you go downtown or out into any of the neighborhoods in Portland, sky's the limit really on great food. Last time I went to, I forget the name of it, but a really great German place that's quite close to the track. There's a neighborhood called the North Mississippi Avenue, and North Mississippi Avenue has great pizza. It has Porque No tacos, which are legendary. It has this German place, just all kinds of good food.
Great, great. And if someone were coming into town to see the race and stay, should they stay near the track, or is it easy to get to and from the track from, say, downtown Portland?
It is easy to get to and from the track. We have the Max line. We have a light rail line that goes right to the track, and that's really easy to deal with. If you want to stay at one of the nicer boutique hotels downtown, for me, there's a Red Lion that is where you go to pick up your media credential and everything. That's one exit up from the track, and there's nice restaurants up there too, in what we call Hayden Island, Jansen Beach. It's basically right on the banks of the Columbia, and the Red Lion up there is really pretty. Nice place, nice restaurant in the hotel, and a bar and a coffee shop. So plenty of options, and it's just a short ride to the racetrack from there. I would stay at the Red Lion and Uber it.
We've already talked about what you think about Power and Palou and that. And any dark horses for you this weekend?
No, not really. I am going into this believing that it's going to be a two-man grudge match between Power and Palou, and I'm looking forward to that. And if one of them falls off the pace early on, then it's anybody's game.
Sure.
I have to be honest with you. I hope you're right. I love watching Will Power race with his elbows out. And if he's looking to prove a point, he will be.
Oh, sure. I think, he's gonna come into this thinking, this is my track. This is where I have something to defend. Mm-hmm. And,
why not delay the champ one more week?
Yeah.
Just for fun. Just for fun.
Any driver is going to look at Palou and say, you want to claim that championship this weekend, you're going through me first.
Yeah.
You gotta get ahead of me to do that. And like I said, I think power's the man to beat.
Cool. Well, Jeff, I really appreciate you joining us on this because your insights are invaluable to anybody who wants to, really understand what's going to happen in that race in Portland. So we appreciate your taking the time and being here with us and being a part of the team at IndyCar Insider.
Look forward to many, many more such podcasts.
Yeah, let's plan on talking on Monday after the race.
Post-race, yeah.
And we can do a little post-race recap and see how right you were or not. And Kaz and I will be making our predictions after qualifying. And,
Harvey and I do a little predictions game. We'll send you the template so that we can, if you want, you can participate. We're not very good.
That sounds great. Well, no. I mean, at the runoffs, if I picked you to win, it was known as the Zursch curse.
Well, and this is also, IndyCar, the thing we love about it is its unpredictability. There are so many people who are capable of winning a race or finishing on the podium up and down the grid. There are very few people that you actually rule out, right?
I don't think you or I have made any crazy picks, but they seem crazy after the race results come out. So,
well, that's one thing I am never afraid of, making the crazy pick.
It's more fun.
It's more fun. And, if you're wrong, well, nobody expected you to be right.
Well, Jeff, I really appreciate you joining us because your insights are invaluable to anybody who wants to really understand what's going to happen in that race in Portland. So we appreciate your taking the time and being here with us and being a part of the Trackside team at Rides and Drives. For all of us at Trackside with Rides and Drives, I'm Harvey, and I'm here with Kaz and Jeff, and we'll see you at the track.